I don't know. I'm excited to find out, mate. In the top left-hand side, in the blue, he's got that Razzmatazz. He's excited. He's ready. He's rearing to go. He's been bantering with Seither in the chat already. This is Raza.
He's promised this gentleman in the bottom right a gentle experience. In the red, representing Mind Freak and representing Oceania, this is the #1 Terran Down Under, Seither.
Now, I do wonder if... Oh, interesting. Looks like a proxy second barracks Reaper, I would guess here from Seither. Could just be scouting himself, of course, but definitely feels like he's going to a proxy location, man.
Yeah. The path is weird if you want to scout, for sure. So that is going to be the second barracks.
All right. Yeah, so it could just be a 2-Rex Reaper. It's a 17 second barracks, 17 supply. So he's not cutting SCVs for it, really. Maybe like half an SCV at most. Yeah, it's about like maybe 5 seconds of an SCV that he skipped. So it's very little actual economy you're losing from this. And a lot of the time when we see people do strategies like this, it's not really like, oh, they got to do massive damage. They kind of want to like get in and kill 2 SCVs and maybe a Reaper. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. We'll leave now because you're going to have your own Hellions. You're going to have your own units out. So this is not really as committed as it might seem at first glance. It's the second barracks proxy, not the first one. No tech labs on them. And we do expect Seither to get a command center pretty quickly behind this. And this leads into a double medevac drop style as well, because you've already got 2 barracks, so good chance he floats the barracks home after building 2 Reapers from the proxy and uses that to kind of just pump out Marines.
Yep, seems like that's the case. You can sometimes snowball and just really pick off some of those early game units. And in TVT, like, it can just be over if you lose like one Reaper or 1 Hellion too many, and your opponent just washes over you with the rest of their light units. But I mean, when isn't that the case in TVT? You're a siege tank shot away from losing the game at any point, it feels like, especially when you're closely matched.
All right, the first 2 Reapers in the SCV coming in. He's gone reactors straight away. Oh my god, so greedy from Raza.
Oh, Seither's going to find some damage here. I don't know if he has to... don't think he needs to cancel that command center, but, you know, Seither is setting up shop with a bunker right next to it, so potentially he's in the main base here, trying to force a reaction out of these reacted Reapers. The plus side of the reactor, I mean, the downside of the reactor is there isn't multiple Reapers here for Raza, but the plus side is he's going to have 2x2 now, and he's got a Hellion out as well to defend. So the point for Raza here is to get rid of that bunker. If he can get rid of that, which he does, then he should be fine.
2x2 drills of blue. The SCVs pull to the front, and they are, of course, very tanky, but 4 Reapers now. Very scary count. That command center is not going to finish, I don't think. I do think he's got to cancel that now, of course. 2 Hellions, 3 Reapers. Ooh, Raza's going to keep it alive. Nice save.
Yeah, and he's on the chase because he knows that his army is more powerful than Seither's right now. And Seither's only building 1 Reaper at a time at the moment, so he's cut that other barracks' worth of production of Reapers. Back at home, he's getting his own factory. The factory is not even anywhere near done yet, Pig. So it's just Reapers against Reaper Hellion here for Seither.
Yeah, great dodging on the grenades as well. Oh, Seither stopping on the low ground. A little bit of a mistake. And he stacked up for the Hellion splash. Mistakes coming out of Seither. He had the numbers. He should have been able to win that fight with the high ground advantage. Good SCV pull.
Yeah, very good SCV pull, and he got the snipe on that single Reaper as well, so he didn't just even it out. He actually took the fight pretty convincingly there in the end, getting rid of that Hellions, or the Hellions, plural.
All right, that Reaper just kind of leading the Hellion around does get taken down, and at the end of this, Seither is up 4 workers with the command center finished significantly earlier, but his factory is... I guess, well, to be fair, it's totally fine, the factory timing, as long as Raza doesn't find damage with this set of units. Because he's only been building Hellions, and oh, he's going battle cruiser, but there's a barracks that's going to float in and scout it. Dude, the memes are coming out.
I think the fusion core got cancelled. I don't see it in the production tab anymore.
Yeah, he saw the barracks coming. He knew he couldn't hide it. But this is too much damage, I think. The Reaper needs to get to that bunker. Okay, he does have the bunker with a Reaper in it. And oh, the Cyclone just started, Maynard. That's so bad.
Oh, no. I think Seither's going to lose every SCV here and potentially the game. It doesn't seem like a lot, but again, like the light army of the Terran can really snowball if you just lose 1 or 2 many units.
Yeah. And that's it. The Reaper production, I talked about this at the start of the series. How is Seither going to stop the onslaught of Reapers? Any other player will stop building Reapers. He doesn't want to overcommit. Raza always keeps building Reapers. He never stops. He always overcommits to them. That's just how he plays. He likes to look for this aggression, and Seither keeps leaving the openings. This is devastating damage.
Yeah, I mean, the Cyclone is out, and yeah, it'll get rid of these Reapers, but Seither has 13 Reapers versus the 30. It's not super uncommon to be down a dozen workers in StarCraft 2 at the professional level. In a mirror, very uncommon. At the first 5 minutes of a mirror, extremely bad. So yeah. I can't even exacerbate how badly this is for Seither. This is really, really bad.
Dead man walking.
Yeah, dead man walking.
That's
walking the mile.
Yep. Walking the green mile right now is Seither, and it's not a bad way. Hang in there. See if you can make something work for him at 17 to 35 workers. Got a third command center, triple meal. Yeah, so third command center is going to go down on location. Ooh, if the Reaper sees it, he could actually kill that SCV. That would be awesome. Oh, great Reaper timing.
Yeah, very nice. Getting a little bit done on the other side of the map. Got a lot more work to do than that, though, of course, to get himself anywhere near to a decent position in this game.
He's going to go cloak
swinging over into the main base.
So
okay.
If the Raven tank push comes, which he's delayed, so that's pretty good. So the Raven tank push will come across the map now from Raza. And a Banshee technically could fly in and kill stuff. So what Seither needs is he needs the one tank that's going to pop to kill both tanks, despite the Marines and the interference matrices and auto turrets that are going to come down. I don't know how he does that, Maynard, but if he does that, his Banshee could rip apart Raza's economy on the other side.
It could and it needs to for Seither to win this video game. So we do have the 3 gas rolling in for Raza for the push here with the Ravens, with the tanks. This is a lovely little spot if you can get there on light shade, and now he's going to start pressuring the production on the ramp here for Seither. Of course, any unit coming out of that barracks is toast as well. So Seither's just going to lift it up, give up the depot, give up the reactor.
Oh, that Banshee coming in, starting to do some damage. Okay, Banshee, you got to kill 10 more of those at least, all right? All right, buddy. Yeah,
come on.
Good cloak timing. Dodges that projectile. Could get out of that scan as well, I think. Nicely done.
Yeah, that's very good. You know, 5 SCVs. The Banshee's still alive, only losing a few hit points. That tank zigging when it should have sagged. This is all good for Seither. Definitely a blunder from Raza there.
Raza looked a little frustrated by that. And obviously, unforced error there coming out of Raza. And the Banshee's back on in there, is it? Or did it go down? Oh, there we go. Nice.
Back.
Forces another scan. Another 3 SCVs. Worker count's pretty close right now.
Yeah, wow.
There's only Marines there to shoot up. Actually, a Banshee could come around and hit those tanks. Oh, but it's just going to go for the economy. Okay, fair enough. It's going to go for the main base now as well. And these tanks, Marines, Ravens, I mean, you might want to just bust the natural, but with the bunker there, it's hard to do.
Another Banshee showing up at the main base here. It's either actually about to take the worker lead after this Banshee's done its damage.
Oh, he's starting to break the bunker. Oh, but he loses a tank for it. Dude, that's 2 tanks that he's taken. And he took another shot there because of the splash damage. Wow. Okay, this is actually crazy. Raza's taking big damage. The tank on siege from Seither does lose 1. The double lib causing problems, of course. Seither still backed up against the wall, fighting for dear life, but he's only down 5 army supply. And Raza just cannot get this missile turret up.
Yeah, he's given up on it now by the looks of things. He's just all in on this push. Seither has somehow, some way found himself some nice damage here. He's also got the air advantage. He's getting rid of these Vikings. That means the Ravens and the Liberators are next. These auto turrets need to get rid of these Vikings.
Oh, dude. Oh, this is a gamble from Raza. He knows he's going to lose those libs for this. He gets 1. He gets 1 of the tanks. The auto turrets come down. There's still 2 tanks alive. Seither's going to have to lift that command center and pull it back. He's got to just give up that command center for a moment. Just don't lose all the SCVs mining it. Yeah, it's time to lift that bad boy, I think.
All right, well, the Liberators are getting dealt with. And while Seither has lost a good chunk of his workers here, he's not out of the woods yet. Still alive. He just needs to get the tank somewhere in position. The Viking count looking great, but he's not really able to support too many tanks here with these Vikings.
Oh, it's a Banshee on the production, Maynard. Dude, Raza's economy, his base is in tatters. I told you he's been getting a little bit tense yesterday. Made some unforced errors against T-Ball in that final game of their series. And we're seeing it again in a high-pressure situation. Great early game, great aggression. But he's a little over-eager to finish the game off. Now, obviously, he's got 3 command centers landed in mining versus 1, but down 12 workers, no air control. When this Liberator pops, it's going to evict him from the natural, and Seither will be able to start landing that, get back to mining. He's got the worker lead. This is still a very fragile position for Seither, but he has resurrected himself from a disaster.
Well, he's just trying to get that natural secured, but the longer it's up in the sky, Raza just gets to enjoy that extra bit of mining. Like, yeah, Seither's got more workers, but look how many are long distance mining here. It's just not comfortable at all.
Oh, the tanks are even in range as well. Oh, he's going to kill these tanks. If you stay and fight as Raza, you're going to lose them all, dude. I don't think that's worth it. He's going to lose every tank. Oh, my lord. All 4 tanks go down. That was his advantage right there, Maynard. His advantage is gone. Seither can drop all 3 bases. This is wild. I cannot believe it. I mean, it was 25 workers in the early game. How many did Raza kill?
Oh, man. Quite a bit is the answer.
And 25 of those was like 2 minutes before the Banshee even got in. So Raza had like minutes of double the income. Like he is actually now in a very frustrating position because he's very aware of the fact that he just gave up a massive advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, what a wild action-packed game 1 here. I think Raza's still in the driver's seat a little bit, but of course he's got those upgrades for the bio. This Liberator's certainly not going to get a whole lot done.
Double lib though for Seither going in. So he's sieging both bases at once. This is awesome. Denies what looked like an armory going down behind the natural. He's going to grab at least 6 or 7 SCVs. Raza a little slow to respond. And oh, this is so frustrating. Oh, they're just going to fly out. Dude, he's not even going to kill both of the Liberators. Oh, Seither being so annoying right now. And he's getting all of his infrastructure up behind this. I'm looking for what Raza's game plan is from here, Maynard, and I think it's claw your way back from behind. I cannot believe it. He's got to just defend and try to macro up.
I'm going to be real with you, man. I'm a little bit worried for Raza, and not just in this game, but in this series after this game. Like, this was an extremely one video game for Raza that I think that he maybe got a little bit too excited, or the pressure mounted up a little bit too much, just because this series, you know, we're in the business end here. This is for thousands of dollars. So this game was his, and I think there's maybe a bit of jitters, you know, the kind of stuff that you get from just not being ready for this kind of match, or not being super focused, not being super confident. And all of a sudden, you know, Seither here, who I can promise you has no jitters, he's just having the time of his life right now, is going to make you punish for that.
Especially in TVT, dude. It's so you're the highest damage race in the game. You know, longest range, highest damage. Also the most fragile units. So it's a kind
Blast
of
cannon race.
Wild combo. Yeah, man. It's you can crack your opponent or be cracked in an instant. You got to be careful. It's a massive marine advantage for Raza right now, and a 1-1 upgrade advantage. In 20 seconds, all the upgrades kick in for Seither. Seither's like, please don't attack me. Please give me a few more seconds. Combat shields will definitely kick in. Oh, I don't know if 1-1's going to be ready in time. He does have a good tank line, though. I'm not sure, even though he's got the marine advantage. If Raza could drop in the back or something, catch him out of position, he'd crush this in the open field with an unsieged opponent. But with the tank sieged up, it's scary to push into that.
Certainly. That's one of the weird things about TVT that makes it very, very tough, and why you need to be a master at it is just pushing with siege tanks is very, very difficult, but defending with siege tanks is not hard at all. You just sit there, you get yourself a line of them, and they do their job very well, especially when you're up a ramp.
Until your opponent gets Ravens, and then suddenly Interference Matrix changes that. But yeah, at this stage, it's like, no. I can siege this up and play that style out, and we'll see exactly who has the better mid to late game. Upgrade lead is, of course, continuing for Raza as he drops the second factory. Fourth command center, though, getting close to finished for Seither, and that is going to be an advantage building upon an advantage. So it seems like Seither is going to get the sick late game. Raza's still playing a timing attack, almost Korean style right now. He's not building SCVs. He's not building a fourth command center. He's not missing any unit production. He just wants to fight.
Oh no, Raza. Nearly took a big blow to the Marines there, just got out of range of those tanks on the high ground to Seither. Rotating around to the third base, which he hopes is a bit more exposed, but there's still tanks there as well. And a big tank shot there to those 2 red hit point tanks.
Perfect play from Seither at this point. When your opponent's sharking around, you start just leaving tanks around forward on the cliff ledges and stuff, so that Raza, unless he's completely ready to go, you know, you're going to kind of punish him for all of this constantly rotating between different attack paths. You'll get a few shots off here and there, and it makes it a little bit harder for Raza to bully you back. And Raza is pushed into building his own fourth command center. He hasn't built an SCV in a while, sitting at 56 workers, so still a lower economy style from him. Seither with the air advantage. It's going to go into double lib production. To see that a second factory, Maynard. I've only seen one tank building at a time. I think he does desperately need a second fact.
Yes.
He's got one. Just not quite consistent with tank production just yet, that's all.
Yeah, either not consistent with it or it's you know, something worse than that. It might not be hockey, but
or no
yeah,
tech lab, right? If you forgot the tech lab,
maybe.
you're queuing tanks. You queue 6 tanks on one factory and nothing on the other one because it can't build tanks yet. I do that all the time.
Oh, he's going to get rid of this drop. These Marines will be checking in, but they won't be checking out. These superior upgrades are for Raza, so his Marines are looking for Marine battles. If he can get Marine on Marine action, then Raza's going to win a lot of those fights. He does have a massive Marine ball, so he's going to benefit a lot for those upgrades. But you know what? I think that tanks, especially with Viking support, really don't give a shit about your Marine count for the most part, unless it's obscene.
It is light shade though, so the thing is, like, it can look like there is no way in. This isn't gonna, like, where are the Marines gonna fight? He's defended. The moment they catch you without all your tanks in one position, things can get rather scary very quick. So I feel for Raza, he should have split his army a little while ago. His army is so big, so I think he should have armies roaming both sides. That's what you see like Cure and Beyond do in this scenario where they're behind on tanks, behind on Vikings, but they've got the Marine advantages. Just kind of be poised, ready to strike in multiple areas at once. And when Seither moves out, if you can cut around behind him, hit his economy, hit his production, or surround his army from 2 sides, tank advantage is good, but if you catch him on siege for even a second, that's not that great, number one. Number two, if your Marines are spread out enough in the open, tanks aren't that effective. The problem is, obviously, if you're attacking from one side, the Marines are all clumped up behind each other. That's where the tank shots gain crazy value. The other thing is the Vikings won't help Seither. In that sort of fight where you're just charging him with Marines, Vikings aren't a very useful unit. You can land them, they're not going to be very valuable.
Yeah, they're pretty much just there to give your tanks that extra bit of range to have the advantage in tank-on-tank fights, and also to get rid of the Liberators and that sort of thing from Raza, which is the ultimate tank removal device for Terran. You can get away with it.
Marines and tanks going to break open the rocks in the middle, plus 2 air attacks already on the way for Seither. He actually didn't get vehicle weapon upgrades at all, which is kind of bizarre to just go straight to the air control. Seither's got to be careful. This is still a very scary ground army from Raza.
So many Marines.
I love this. I love this. This is the best thing to do. If you're just playing this turtley style as Seither, you just send drops around. It's a low-risk maneuver. Yeah, he takes a few big tank shots. Who cares? Just stim on top, take it down.
Yep, he's going to kill some SCVs here, and by some I mean like 10. Boosting a medevac into the main base. He's killed a lot of his Marines down here at the 3rd, but he's killed 11 SCVs, and now he's on top of production with 8 stim Marines.
And dude, Raza was on 55 workers. He can't take this sort of damage. Raza has been in such an all-in position for so long. He's on 4 bases, but he's on 41 workers now, and he's using it to just build more army. Raza is literally playing one-punch knockout TVT right now. Seither, his whole job here is do not die. Do not unsiege all your tanks. Do not move out. Just keep things sieged and add more production and add more upgrades, add more planetaries. Don't take any chances here because Raza's got a much bigger army.
Oh, Raza either impatient or he thinks that this is the moment. He's coming in with that big concave of Marines. So many tanks from Seither on the back line. The Vikings doing their job in the skies, and that's no problem. But my God, the tanks! That Marine count getting eviscerated here defensively by Seither. But Raza not done. He's got a pretty good tank count himself.
Dude, I think if Raza came from the top with like 30, 40 Marines there as well, I honestly think he wipes that. It's actually crazy how like many tanks there were for Seither. They smashed like 80 Marines, and there's still like 40 more behind it. I may be exaggerating the numbers, but honestly, it's not too far off. Oh, I like that move, Seither. Gonna catch the tanks.
Yeah. Very nice. Just trying to get as much value out of those Vikings as possible. And Seither, like, really didn't lose much of his infrastructure there. Like, he traded some units, but that's easy for Seither with his bank to replenish. But look at Raza's bank.
Oh, Raza,
in double digits.
He's on his last legs. He's going to have one more max out mega army push, right? And that's about... I mean, he's adding a few SCVs back. He doesn't have 3-3 even as well. So that's actually a problem for him where it's like, hey, Marine advantage is your thing. Yeah, you'll have more of them, but being down 2 upgrades is a little rough.
Oh, he does have 3-3.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the upgrades wrong. My bad.
Yeah, Seither had the 2-2 for a long time. Raza actually had 3-3 pretty early. He's had that upgrade for the whole game, but it's equal upgrades now. Every advantage that Raza had has definitely been going away the longer this game is going. It feels like since the Liberator harassment, Raza's been all in a weird way.
Oh, for sure.
He's like just had this giant army just sharking around looking for an attack on Seither, but Seither's been doing an excellent job, thanks to these watchtowers and also just being vigilant at keeping Raza away from his soft underbelly.
I think Raza, he needed to show, like I said, split the army up. You can't catch Seither out in one position. You got to create a little bit of movement, create a bit of chaos. I mean, he's taking a lot of bases, which at least puts pressure on Seither to move out. But Seither is like, dude, he's played against Micah 1,000 times, and he's applying the same philosophy here against Raza. It's like, just don't die, dude. He's always going to charge with a bunch of Ling Bane, in this case, a bunch of Reaper Hellion. Then he's going to try and kill you, you know, with his first few tanks and Ravens. And then he's going to push you with Mass Marine Tank afterwards. And what does Seither do very well is just lock up the turtle shell, pull in his head, tuck it into his shell, and say, nope, nope, nope. Going to take more bases. I'll occasionally do a Liberator or an 8 Marine drop. Other than that, sitting behind my walls of tanks, getting every upgrade in the game, taking every base, and I'll let you throw your army into my defenses. It's not going to go well for you, mate.
Yeah, Seither always putting the shell in Sheldon, as evidenced by this play here.
His name is actually Sheldon, of course, for those who don't know.
Sorry.
Mr. Barrow, I believe.
That's Sheldon Barrow. Or Old Mate, as he's known to his friends.
Sheldon Barrow, I don't know why. It sounds like it could be like a badass, like kind of lich name, you know, like some sort of undead lord, yeah.
Sheldon Barrow to me sounds like a like an Aragorn kind of character, like one of those human ranger kind of.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, like a.
I'm pretty sure that Sheldon is pretty good with a bow staff, Maynard.
Yeah, I would definitely like if I was ever going to be in a fight with Seither, I would hope that he doesn't have a quarterstaff. If he does, I'm walking.
Ooh,
There's no way you win. You can't win a quarterstaff battle against a guy called Sheldon Barrow.
No.
It's impossible.
He brings that Geelong farmer skill set, man. It's just. Can you see the unit stat, by the way? Because we're about to see 110 Marines die, I think, Maynard. 91. Ooh. Oh my lord.
More than double the Marines here for Raza, but I mean, tanks don't care. They really don't. He's going to have to find that angle. I think this angle is just not doable for Raza. No. Like, he's got an obscene amount of Marines, but there's a planetary here. There's a deep tank line. Like, it's just not attackable.
Yeah, and the range lives. I mean, he might get the base on the top. That is a lot of Marines running up there. I think they get the planetary in the top right. Mass repair, not enough. Liberators, though, killing everything. Even the Thor goes down. And yeah, oh, look at that. Even the SCVs get out. Nice save from Seither there. And he's just killed a lot of the tanks. Raz is going to struggle to replace this. And for Seither, this is a funny situation. If those of you like, just finish the game, Seither, I'm sure there's someone. I'm not looking at Twitch chat, but I'm sure there's someone, right?
I have looked a bit, but I regret it.
Yeah. It's actually how you lose here. Like, honestly, Raza has such a big standing army. If you move out, you give him the opportunity. I was watching a game very similar to this of Beyond vs. Cure just 2 weeks ago, and Cure just defended so well, and then he got over-eager and moved out in this situation. And Beyond just surrounded his army with Mass Marine and crushed it. And it was like suddenly Beyond was back in charge after being behind for 15 minutes on everything. And I was like, no way, man. The correct call is just slowly take the map bit by bit. The thing is, your opponent's built a very bad composition unless you move out and get yourself surrounded or something like that. As long as you stay in these defensive stances, the Marines are never going to find a good trade. There's no air control for Raza. Your tanks are better than his tanks because of that, even though you didn't get the vehicle weapon upgrades. And here we go!
Oh, now that's all right. These Marines getting a good bit of damage at the start of this fight. Now they're going to get the wraparound of those frontline Marines of Seither. Now this fight for Raza is looking a lot better.
I don't think you can kill the planetary, though, if Libs get down there as well. I think, yeah, Seither's building battle cruisers now. He's starting to make more Marines and tanks, dude. The bank is not that huge for Seither. He never built the mass orbital. He's got like 3 extra orbitals, but not a crazy number. A Liberator over here would be huge right now. Oh, he's going to lose that. And all the SCVs. Oh, my lord. Dude. Look at the supply. What? Is Raza back in this?
I think so, man. He just, that one punch that he was looking for, that one weakness, he found it. He's sharking in the water, smelling the blood, and he found it.
It's light shade. It's so wide open, right? I guess it's just the Marines had such a big arc in that fight, so the tank splash wasn't as effective, and I guess it was only a section of Seither's tanks, right? When they're spread across such a big map, they can't all be in one place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if Seither gets the time to get up a ball of battlecruisers, that's another unit that doesn't really care about Marines. If he can get there, yeah. And then again, like the advantages are in the Marine count here for Raza. He's getting some Thors as well, but still like a bunch of BCs. They got +3 attack for Seither as well. They are going to be hitting real hard, and they are going to shred Marine balls. So he's not out of it yet, but definitely a brilliant move there from Raza to finally find the opening.
Yeah, he's going to send the battlecruisers to go harass. They are the best harassment unit in the game with that teleport ability to get out of trouble. Seither, he's trying to remax here, mostly on Marine tank, with a little bit of battlecruiser support. Tanks are sieging up, and got the Vikings still there as well. So Those Vikings are there. The medevacs will all get cleansed in any direct combat.
Yeah, we've got the BCs circling down the south side here. Raza would see it with the watchtowers. A couple Marines of Seither just checking 12 o'clock, but not really able to do a whole lot there.
Battlecruiser is going to take out the missile turret. It's going to start to work on the SCVs on this base. Raza's going for a Ghost Academy. He was planning to start using nukes to break Seither's defensive positions, Maynard. But now he's realizing, oh, this is an entirely different problem. I'm going to need to add that second armory, get my own Vikings out. He has actually got a few Thors, and Thors with +3 and their single target fire mode on are very good, but Seither's going to use that distraction to actually push forward, and actually Seither has less workers. He's the one with the bigger army this time, Maynard.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to cut off 12 o'clock, and also this base to the south side is guaranteed at least one mace pick off, but is Raza just going to go for a big old base trade here? His army is all the way across the map.
Base with Tradu, Maynard! This is going to be a good time. Honestly, Raz's army might be better for this than Seither's. Seither's got to get those battle cruisers out of there. Remember, they don't have armor. Marines with a +3 eradicate one of the battle cruisers. If he had some tanks on the high ground, this would be good for Seither, but I don't think he was producing tanks in the lead up to this. He's got 1 tank, 2 tanks on the high ground. Okay, that might be able to hold the main with the help of the BCs and the Marines.
Yeah. That's a lovely little position up here on the top of the ramp for Seither.
Those tank shots are brutal. Raz is losing so many Marines right now.
Is it enough, though? He is breaking that tank line. He's breaking the line. He's killing the BCs as well. If he can get on top of production, that's where the heart is. Seither's already there, and Raza's main as well.
Oh, the battle cruisers are going to be great value as this goes on. I'm not sure if they have Yamato just yet, as I don't know if we've seen it. But, dude, this is crazy. Raza killed Seither like 4 minutes into this game. For anyone who's forgotten, he like killed him. He killed almost every SCV. Then Seither somehow brought it back with Cloak Banshees. The whole map was way ahead. Raza found the perfect fight with the mass marine that he built up. And now we are in this absolutely mad position. Seither has lost almost all of his production. He has not started rebuilding it. Raza, same scenario. They're not going to be able to spend their money here. Raza is still building some Vikings, so he's getting some units out. He's up 15 army supply. He's got a few barracks down in the bottom right. That's actually very effective, but obviously supply block town for Raza. Every single depot of his went down already.
Yeah, oh man. This is looking so crazy. Game 1, I can't believe that we're here again in Game 1. But TVTB like that, man. A lot of base. It feels like it's always one small shove from becoming a full-on base trade, this matchup.
Dude, Seither didn't lose his depots, and he's building Banshees. Remember, they have Cloak left over from the other game. If he kills a bunch of the orbitals, there's no scans for Raza. This might actually be the checkmate move. This is so smart from Seither. Cloak Banshee is always something you should look for in a base trade scenario. He's also rebuilding the barracks in the top right. They're both in kind of similar workers, 40 to 50. But Raza, he needs to clean this army up. He's brought his army home. He didn't kill the rest of the infrastructure. He didn't commit to the base trade. And now he's coming home. But dude, those Marines, be careful with those. The Vikings of Seither already picking off a bunch of the units in the air.
Yeah. Well, we've got a production tab for Seither and we don't for the other player, which is a good sign for Seither in this base trade. He's also got a bit of a bankroll as well. And Raza, I mean, can't do anything with that bankroll. He's like, it doesn't matter that he's outmining Seither until he's got depot production up and he's got any production at all kicking in. Like right now, all Raza can do is build depots. All right, Banshee catching a tank here in the middle of the map. Once again, the Cloak coming on in, and Raza, without the ability to scan over and over, he's just going to consistently lose things to this Banshee. As evidenced by that medevac trying to pick up things and save it. Big ol' win from Raza. Seither's got those tanks up on the high ground.
Yeah, dude, you know what? Maybe he could fly a medevac over the Banshee and shoot it with his Thors in splash damage mode. He's going to do it! He's thinking about it! No, but he's too busy with the army on the left. He's like, I can't waste time doing that right now. I got to deal with this army that's pushing into my production.
Yeah, certainly. Oh, man. Seither coming in from multiple angles here. That Banshee being such a nuisance on the right side, and the main part of his army, the power of his army on the left side as well, with even Raven support. BC production's resumed here for Seither.
Dude, this is actually just wild right now. I think Seither might be checkmating it. BC's, of course, so good for harassment. And just the fact that he kept so much of his depots up and whatnot, you know, Raza, he's trying to rebuild command centers. Another command center falls. SCV's going down as well, and oh my god, at long last, what an ordeal it's been to get here. It seems like now the Banshees are going to get the checkmate. Yeah, taking out the depot builders there. Marine tank coming from the right. Giant Marine tank army on the left as well. Wow, what a wild back and forth game. And this is so crazy because both players had leads and they slipped away a little bit at various points in this game. Both of them fought back excellently when they were behind. And I mean, it really is a pace setter for the rest of this series.
Yeah, a wild game one, some mistakes from both sides. For a part of this game, I looked at it, I'm like, how did Raza throw this insane lead? And then, you know, it happened again. So really, it seems like they're still so closely matched on both sides here. And need to start sharpening those mistakes as well if they want to make sure that they get convincing W's in this one. It does seem like eventually it's inevitable. Seither does get the victory there. I mean, TVT, it doesn't matter what level you are, whether you're all the way down in Bronze 3 or you're all the way up at the professional level in StarCraft 2. There are just so many base trades in this matchup. It can often go that way when your army's just out of position and you're like, well, I have a win condition here. It's go. It's not go home. Go home is how you lose if your army's out of position. You just got to try and cut the head off the snake. That's your only chance.
Well, that's it. I mean, Seither grabbed his whole army and pushed to the north of the map, and he had such a tank Viking advantage. Raza's like, I can't fight that. No way. Like, you've already got a good siege position. He honestly, he was forced into it. He was like, look, it's a losing fight if I engage that head on. I guess I go around and I just try and strike you at home. And who knows, maybe if he did actually commit more to the base trade, it would have gone a bit better. But remember that Seither had extra planetaries, not just the ones on the bases. He had one in between the natural and third base as well. I'm pretty sure Raza looked at that, was like, yeah, there's layers of stuff. It's going to take me ages to clear with siege tanks. I already lost so many Marines breaking the main base. Let's go home and try to defend. Didn't quite work out for Raza, but what an intense back and forth map.
Yeah, that's action-packed is the best way to describe that game one. Hopefully it was entertaining for you guys. Definitely was for us. We're going to take a short break. When we return, let's hope game two is just as much of a banger. Don't go away. We'll see you then. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the DreamHack's Masters Winter main event here for the Oceanic Rest of Asia region. I'm Maynard, with me is Pig. And we're in the midst of our first best of 5 here with Seither currently being up 1-0 against Raza. But it could have extremely easily been a Raza 1-0 on Seither. Both these players, it wasn't super clear who was going to win that game until Seither was actually the only one alive.
Heck yeah, that was absolutely wild. I'm pretty sure both players are probably annoyed at some of the things that they let slip away, but also like, damn, I fought back from behind and that was awesome. Like, because both of them got the whole gamut of every experience you can have in a StarCraft game, you know? It's like, I'm winning, and then somehow the opponents flipped it on me, and then I'm way behind, but then I flipped it again. It was like constant reversals in position. That was awesome.
Yeah, it really was. Which just gets me really giddy and excited, like a little kid before Christmas morning. I'm just so excited, man. I just want to start that game too. Unwrap this game and see what it is. Is it a new bike? Is it a bottle of whiskey? I hope it's one of those two things.
New bike or a bottle of whiskey? Just remember,
everyone's
don't
childhood was like
indulge in
that,
both
right?
at the same time, Maynard. No drinking on your bicycle,
No, definitely
young
not.
Lee Maynard.
That's
No,
right.
no.
That's right. Make sure you wear a helmet if you do.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, I'm pretty sure the parent who gives the whiskey to the kid probably doesn't say that.
Hey man, no hate, all right? I turned out okay. In the top right,
Helmets are for sissies.
in the top right from Mind Freak in the red, this is the Australian Terror in Seither.
And his opponent in the bottom left, he loves to get that early reactor and pump Reapers for days. This is Raza.
Now, if you guys missed the beginning of game number 1, he actually killed most of the economy of Seither with his Reapers at the beginning of that game. It was something like 13 SCVs for Seither versus like 30 or something of
Yeah,
Raza.
at one point after it stabilized, I remember it was 1735, which is terrible. Like,
Right.
it's so bad. And I think they both had similar command centers and everything, right? So it was wild.
It was indeed. But this is a new game, and we're shaking off game number 1. Hopefully Raza can shake that off and not let him bother it too much. But like you said, it's really hard, especially when you're really good at something. When you understand something incredibly well, it's very easy to be hard on yourself because you know all the mistakes you're making. If you're not a very good player, you don't know all the mistakes you're making. So you're especially hard on yourself when you're at this level. So
Yeah, exactly.
hopefully you can shake off game 1 there.
No, for sure. It definitely was interesting to see Seither try and take advantage of Raza's opening as well with the reactor. You know, being there early, Raza does give up some production, right? And Seither's proxy barracks did some damage, but he was just a little slow in his bunker behind it. It wasn't, and he also did miss micro his Reapers ever so slightly. Got kind of chased home by the Hellions. Maybe overstayed his welcome just a tad. Whereas otherwise it would have been a perfect opening build choice from Seither to take advantage of Raza's habits. This time around, Seither, who goes Reaper straight into Reactor, and it's actually Raza who's going for the double Reaper, probably into a Hellion.
Seither could kind of punish the reactor a bit easier because he went for the proxy barracks, if you cast your mind back. This time, if you just go a regular, 2 Reapers from a naked barracks into a guy that makes 1 Reaper and then a reactor, I think Reactor Reaper guy has got a little bit of an edge. Because defensively, you're going to be just fine. Unless you move out, of course.
Yeah, I think the Reapers could, like, snipe the SCV, and then they have to instantly run, or they'll die to the 3 Reapers, right? It's like, you could run in for, like, 2 seconds on that natural, kill the SCV, but you got to get out of there right after that. Well, it does look like Raza is going to hit with those 2 Reapers straight away. As we just pointed out, he's got the advantage right now for like another 10, 12 seconds, and then he's going to be outnumbered. So he's got to get in and get out, or he's got to get some damage done in this narrow window. He's going to go for the SCV damage. There's a Hellion out as well. Oh, no damage just yet. Oh, this
He's got
is
1
good.
SCV, there's the second. But losing the Reapers for 2 SCVs is not enough here for Raza. Third does go down, but yeah, the Reapers have been cleaned up. So he gets a bit of SCV damage and also gets a scout off there.
Yeah, not too bad. He's gone the quick Cyclone behind it. So I think if you're happy to see, okay, he's built more Reapers and Hellions than me, and he's kept them at home. And this has bought time for my Cyclone to get out. We'll probably see a second Cyclone in this scenario from Raza. He doesn't have to do that. But usually when you already see that they're ahead on Reaper Hellion, the double Cyclone gives you the ability to go and chase them off the map, right? Whereas one Cyclone can just get kind of swarmed by 3 or 4 Reapers and a couple of Hellions.
Looks like the third gas is going down for both players as well, so it does seem like a Tech Lab starport follow-up. Raza's been liking the Ravens, but Seither, once again, going for the Cloak Banshee option. I felt like in game 1, the Cloak Banshee was a response to what happened to him at the beginning of the game. This time might be because of, Raza's inability to mitigate the damage of the Banshee. He's going to, well, let's see how it sticks for game 2 as well.
Yeah, interesting to see it again, isn't it? It's weird because I thought it was a reaction in game 1 to like, desperate situations call for desperate measures. Like, let's go, man. Try the Cloak Banshee, see if it sticks. Could still work out, of course, especially if the Ravens move across the map. But it'll be interesting. A lot of people go Cloakless Banshee. Maybe you fly in with the Banshee, kill an SCV, fly away. Kind of like it's just that standard Cloakless single Banshee. And then you come back in later. You just like wait in the dead space, wait in the edge, for them to push into you, and that's when you pull back. Good micro by Seither. I think he gets out. Yeah, breaks the vision.
Nicely done. Sees the movement of the Cyclones here through the middle of the map. Obviously, he's not too worried about that in the natural. Like, the Cyclones could grab the watchtower away from him and get a little bit of map control for now, but they're not going to be, like, breaking the natural or anything like that. They're not that good against tanks, especially with the Marines in front of them. Cloak is just about to finish, and I think the reason why we've been seeing a bit more, like, Cloakless Banshee is not only you want to save that gas for something else generally, but also because it's just so common to have a Raven in TVT.
Yeah.
Cloak just saying what it used to be.
Yeah, it's a great surprise tactic when the game gets messy or when the Ravens are on your side of the map. But right here, right now, just going to grab 2 SCVs. He shows Cloak immediately, even though there's a Raven on top of him. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, where I'm like, if you see a Raven at home or anything, like, don't even Cloak, preferably. Just be like...
Yeah, just save the energy, come back later.
Just pretend, because then he won't be expecting the 2nd or 3rd Banshee, and those can do big damage.
Yep. Well, Cloak has been shown, but you know what? 6 SCVs for a little bit of hit points on that Banshee. Absolutely, you take that trade any day of the week. So that's a really good start here for Seither.
I think at this point, it's gonna... Okay, his Banshee's just kind of going around. So, I mean, there's a very high chance, of course, of a Cyclone coming out, a Viking, sorry, and taking him out, but... Seither doesn't want to risk leaving just yet. He's going to try to, I think, go into the natural, pick off a few SCVs as that Banshee dies to Vikings. But there's a Cyclone and a Raven there, so it won't work.
Yeah, I think the Banshee's toast no matter how you slice it. We've got a second one on the right-hand side, biding her time. And this Marine from Seither being very active on the map here and finding the 3rd on location. He's going to try and pick off that SCV and maybe even slow it down. He's going to get it too. This is nice.
It's that 4GG style, always building the 3rd out there just in the greediest spot possible on location. Banshee does get taken out there, but a good denial with that Marine does delay it for a little bit. And Seither and Raza are both neck and neck. They're committing to Vikings pretty hard. If we could see the units tab, because it's going to be really important who has more units. And oh, great instincts from Raza. Goes out and checks, and he actually finds the Banshee.
Very nice. And she's closely, wait, no! Yeah. Toast. She's done. That was a great pick up there from Raza, especially considering how much damage the first one did. Seither moving out to take his 3rd base. He's expanding in his main, so it takes him a little bit longer to get that on location. Raza's 3rd is being mined from now. So a little advantage there for Raza in that way, but Seither, good chunk more workers. 5 more workers here for him, so he'll be mining that little bit more now that it's landed.
It hasn't cost him too much either, because he's been down like 1 Viking at a few points, but I think he's actually got the Viking lead now. And he's going to go for a nice little Reaper backstab, finding the mineral line and the extra buildings. Oh, this is very annoying for Raza to deal with. Raza's pushing the front. Raza's pushing the front. Oh, my lord. Oh, he eats a big tank volley.
Huge auto turrets coming down from Raza as well. He's just on a move here with those tanks unsieged.
Ooh.
Is it enough firepower? Oh, yes, it is.
I think he'll kill the tanks, but he doesn't have much left over. It's kind of a shame Seither didn't focus fire the siege tanks over those Vikings, because those are the important units there in the tail end of that fight. I do think that Seither can just break this with his Vikings. Yeah, he can take out the Raven and the Viking, and then he can just land on top and break on out. So a good hold for Seither. As I say that, the SCVs are pulled.
Yeah, he just really wants to get this off his front door. And honestly, throwing away SCVs is completely fine for Seither because he's got such a huge advantage. Even after losing 6 here, he still has 58 over 48 for Raza.
Oh, he's going to build a Sense Tower immediately. Seither knows he just needs to stabilize right now. Raza did take a lot of losses there. He's actually holding down the SCV key, though. He's not kind of switching into that wild all-in mode from game 1. I think Raza here, happy to kind of be a little bit more patient. You know, so far, Raza's been all timing attacks, all sharp pushes, and sometimes even over-commitments with it. But showing the patience here, pulling back, repairing the Raven, just trying to recover that economy. I do like to see a little bit more flexibility because honestly, We keep seeing it. Every time Seither's nameplate is up on that intro, Maynard, in the pre-show, what does it say? It says defensive macro or turtle macro, and then the name of whatever the matchup. That's literally how our experts here in the production team describe his strategy in every matchup, is defend, basically. Sit at home and defend. You know what's really good against someone who's obsessed with defending, Maynard? Taking more bases than them and just being super greedy.
That's right. Anytime you're playing against a mech player or a turtle player, if they just want to sit there, then that means they're not going to attack you, which means expand, 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 build lots and lots of workers, and then you can afford to throw wave after wave at that opponent because you just have more stuff.
Did I just see extra barracks finishing for Seither, by the way? Did he go past 5 racks?
Yeah, wow.
Wow, he's playing Mass Marine from here. He wants to play a mobility style. That's kind of him almost taking up the choice of Raza in the last game. You know, I think it's good on this map. There's such spread on your bases as you get to 4, 5, 6 bases. There's lots of big areas. So splitting an army up and having the higher Marine count, it gives you a lot of mobility. There's good drop angles as well. So, I mean, it's very different to what Seither's been doing in the previous games, but this is going to give him a big Marine advantage. And you know what? It doesn't even need to be you picking your opponent apart. Raza's so trademark aggressive, you can almost just wait for him to push into you and just surround him with Marines, because he's not expecting this from Seither.
Certainly. This time as well, a small difference from the last game. They're really married up with their upgrades. 2-2 starting about the same time for both players. Remember that last game, Raza had a 1-1 advantage and a lot more Marines than Seither for pretty much the whole game until, you know, the upgrades were maxed out towards the end. I like the +1 attack on the armory as well for the tanks. Not every Terran does that. Gets their armory upgrade for the tanks because it's much of a muchness. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't, but I think it matters. And,
there's a scout going on the watchtower, I think, for Raza. So he goes around. Good scouting avoidance here for Seither.
He actually got rid of the watchtower. Nicely done by Seither.
It's a big drop as well. What is that? Like, is that 4 medevacs, 2 tanks, 16
4
Marines?
medevacs, 4 tanks, actually. 2
really?
medevacs filled with tanks, yep.
Wow. That's a lot, dude. That's a crazy amount. And he's going to push the left side at the same time. This is so hard to defend for Raza. Oh,
YOLO turret!
Oh, clutch missile turret!
That's so funny.
Dude, I love those. I love those missile turrets. Oh, it's so rare they pay off, but when they do, it feels so good.
Now see this kind of stuck here in the bottom right. Using this opportunity of Raza's distraction to just steer Marines into the third base, though.
Ooh, he's going to get a nice siege up. Yeah, doesn't need to push his Marines into the tank, though. Probably should be a little chill on this. There we go. Seither getting good damage.
Now Raza going to fight fire with Thaya. The third of the Seither looks wide open as well. He's pulling all the SCVs. He's like, uh-oh, here they come. Lordy coming.
He coming. Uh-oh. Oh, no. He's only got 1 tank so far to Seither. He's got more about to pop. Second one will be out in a moment. Raza does have interference matrix in a big army. Seither's going to fight fire with fire as well. You have fire. I have fire. We both have fire.
Oh, man. TBT, dude. The interference matrix going down on these tanks as well. The Raven's cracking up that defensive unit here for Seither. He's still got that live tank in the main base, getting some great shots on that ramp.
Oh, dude, the Marines are holding so well for Seither. And if that tank can siege up, yeah, he's going to pull the Drilly Boys.
Nice.
A nice pick up with the medevac, shuffles that tank further back, and he will hold on to his main base. This is a...
Yeah, it looks like because Raza is definitely not holding back at home, it is going to be GG with Seither taking the 2-0 lead. Another base trade with Seither winning in the end, but I gotta say, game 2 was a lot more convincing for me.
Yeah, dude, that was really good change up from Seither. I mean, he changed his entire style as well, but it's such a unexpected move, which is really good off of this good start that he had. And very difficult to deal with as well. He's read the situation super well. He's starting to kind of get this feeling for like, all right, Raz is going to base trade at any opportunity. Raz is going to come across. So really well done by Seither to just scramble back up to his main, pulled all of his SCVs to his 4th base on the left side. And what a great handling of a very stressful situation.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, this is where we're in that situation where, of course, when they first faced it off and then first best of 5 in the bracket stage, Seither was the one that was against the ropes. Raza winning the first 2 games. Almost reverse swept, but didn't quite finish it off in the 5th game. Raza needs to reverse sweep here to get that rematch against his countryman T-Ball in the grand final. And this fight, honestly, I was like, oh, the auto turrets are going to help a ton here. Landed Vikings maybe a little bit late, but they get there as well. Unsieged tanks still great DPS, but there just wasn't enough from Raza to do anything convincing at the third base. This turret was so funny.
Well, I mean, Seither got the first volley off, and he was pre-sieged. It was 5 tanks. It was a good defense. That was a very important defense because remember, that came off the back of his Marine and then his Reapers backstabbing and doing so much damage in the early game. And this was great multitask from Seither to push both sides of the map and defend the main this well. Just immaculate, calm under pressure.
Yep. The medevac save on the tank was really nice, and just holding that ramp. Raza getting a little bit too excited. The blood rushing from his brain elsewhere. Just wants to go up that ramp. Just kill, 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 and see as he always seems in that webcam, cool, calm, collected, and you know the worst he'll do is smile if he makes a giant blunder. Like mistakes that would have me holding my head in my hands and being like, "Admin, can I have a 10-minute break?" Seither just smiles through it and is just like, "Yep, next game."
Well, I think Seither's in his best mindset recently. We can really see it where he's just relaxed utterly and he's going into every single one saying, I'm going to play and have fun. That's it. And he's playing not as predictable as he once did. He has been mixing in more proxy barracks against Demi yesterday and that sort of thing. You know, he is mixing in... Actually, think about it. Even against Demi, we keep saying turtle defensive, and he definitely tends that direction. But he went for a proxy barracks, and then he did a 2-base all-in with Marine Tank Liberator yesterday. He opened up with the proxy barracks in game 1 here as well. I mean, Seither here, he's mixing in things. Battle Cruiser swaps in the late game. That one going for mass barracks, Marine Tank, medevac, and doing these YOLO Doom drops. He's just keeping himself super unpredictable. This turns Seither from a predictable player into a big problem. And this man, it's his job to solve it, and he has to solve it right now. This is his last life. He loses one more game, he's out. He's got to win the next 3 in a row. In the top right, in the blue, this is Raza.
Tough series for him so far. In the bottom left go, this guy just seems to get better and better and more convincing every map. Can he be stopped? Will this be a 3-0 for this fine gentleman in the bottom left? From Mind Freak, this is Seither.
I'm so curious to see actually what a Ligulac kind of thinks their chances were. So I've actually just put the numbers into its prediction feature. It did say Seither 62%, 63% chance to win this series. Interesting. But obviously waiting their past matchups quite a lot. I think with Raza's momentum going into this, they're so far in this tournament, a lot of people thinking Raza might have even been the favorite, but so far Seither has stayed calm. We can see Raza, as he gets a little bit more tense in that series, kind of turning in his chair a little bit and really wants to just make sure he hits everything perfectly in the next few minutes.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I love Oxide here for a TVT. It's a great map. I'm a big fan of it. I know it's been around for a long time. People would argue it's a little bit long in the tooth, but it is so few people dislike it. So, and TVT is TVT. The good thing about even though the maps haven't really changed in a long time, it feels like the matchups have been evolving a little bit. Some things have been popping up their heads every now and then. That said, though, I'm kind of doubling up. I'm like taking it back and then I'm taking it back again. I feel like TVT hasn't changed a ton for quite a while.
Yeah, there's meta shifts within TVT, but there hasn't been an entire kind of meta-defining shift where everything's gone. I mean, it's something where you're like, oh, so every now and then you're like, oh, I haven't seen this build in a while. Oh yeah, it's still good. It's like there's a lot of options, you know. There's a lot of bag of tricks to dig into. Now we have seen, of course, a lot of this double gas, lots of Reaper ledges. So one Rax expands, it's kind of hard to defend because these Reaper ledges are kind of all over the map pool, and it's either going to be a bit more defensive. Raz is poking out with his Reapers, but not too far. Both players being patient for now as more Reapers and Hellions building for Raza. So at least 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. Definitely looks like he'll be the aggressor as the add-ons are building for Seither.
Seither just kind of chilling, waiting on that ramp, waiting for Raza to come to him, and Raza being vigilant with these early game units, checking around his triangular base expansion, just going, is there anything out here? Are we hiding any factories or starports or anything, that kind of thing? Can we catch a Reaper here?
Cyclone and Marines aren't ready yet. Seither should pull back from that ramp at this point. It's very dangerous if he doesn't react quickly. This 3 Reaper, 2 Hellions going to outgun him.
certainly will. Seither's got to kind of give up the natural here for now and let the SCVs take one for the team.
Yeah. 3 SCVs should go down there. Does lose a bit of gas mining as well. As the Cyclone comes down, he can chase Raza off. Perfect pull-out timing for Raza, and well worth it so far. 3 SCVs, hasn't lost a unit. His own Ravens are on the way, so both players tied up in the Raven production. And the Cyclone coming out to catch up on that for Raza as well. Raza, of course, had his gas mining a little bit earlier with no interruption on that. And both players are looking to be in a very standard situation. So far, no one has really looked for anything like the tank drop in this matchup.
Yeah, there hasn't really been a fast medevac opener. Everyone's been going for either Raven or, in Seither's case, the Banshee.
Just waiting in the grass, poking around the front still is Raza. Sort of movement with his units that could be punished by a drop, right? If there's like a drop with Marines and a Widowmine or something that goes in his main, he's got very little to defend it.
That's very true. Also does have the Marines on that Raven sort of standing by just in case of something like that. Reaper is either not looking to do damage, just kind of having a look at what's being produced here. Having a look at the production. Is there a third command center? Is there extra barracks? Like, what are we looking like here? Got to be vigilant in that regard. You got to consistently scout your opponent.
So far, it is a complete mirror matchup, Maynard. The first big 3 tank, 3 Raven fight, it's going to decide a lot. Whether it's 2 Ravens or 3, a lot of people stopping at 2 when going into Vikings. Now, there's technically an advantage to defending and having more units arrive in the fight, but more often than not, I do find it's the aggressor who's able to kind of make the other player uncomfortable and find that engagement. We'll see who actually pushes across first. Raza still has this squad outside, just kind of monitoring what's going on. The rest of his units sitting at home, though.
Small cluster of units here for Seither sees the army of Raza and catches what looks to be a proper move out here. He's
nice manual lock on there from Seither onto the Cyclone. That was all manual from him. Almost gets the Cyclone because of that, and he's going to move forward. It's going to be very hard for Raza to secure a third base if this army gets sieged up out there.
Yeah, certainly. It's a nice angle on our side if you can get up against those minerals so you can start to pressure the production as well.
Oh, here we go. Raza coming on forward. Raven does get locked. Auto turret spam for both sides. Both of them do manage to drop them. And one Raven does go down for both players. The tanks shredding each other's Marines. Seither does start to target the tanks, but it's 2 versus 3. I think it looks like, yeah, Raza is going to lose 2 of his tanks, but he will clean this up.
Yeah, gets the cleanup and keeps Seither off of that really important position here. So now he can start looking at that third base and not having to worry as much. The third's being turned into an orbital right now. Getting his second and third barracks is up. And everything's starting to look a little bit more comfortable for Raza on his side of the map. Now he knows that Seither's going to have to retreat back to his shell and basically lick his wounds and get into the next phase of his plan as well with the tiniest little bit of, lack of map control here for Seither.
Seither has not missed a beat on his SCV production. Remember, he was down a couple earlier, and now he's up a couple of workers. That is purely just due to that difference in their worker production. And the consistency of that Seither, a macro beast as always. Raza wants to get ramp control here.
That's a good spot to be. Can catch units coming down that ramp. Seither getting some shots off on the Marines though. And oh, that Raven one shot.
Bear the Raven.
Oh. Yeah, that Raven is so important. Honestly, Ravens are something that I expect to see in later game TVTs, but you haven't seen either player really make them after the beginning of the game, these 2.
They're very hard to use correctly, very fragile, very expensive, very hard to replace. Definitely one of the ultimate units in the late game because of that energy-based nature. You get one on full energy, it's only 2 supply. You drop 4 auto turrets in a fight. I'll tell you what, that's worth a lot more than 2 Marines, Maynard.
Yeah, true that. The auto turret it always surprises me when you're playing a TVT and I'm like, oh, he dropped an auto turret, that's fine, I'll A move it. And the auto turret is like, wait, it has how many hit points? The thing just doesn't go down.
Too many. 18 damage a shot as well. It's kind of like 3 Marines in 1 essentially. And uh-oh. Seither on sieges.
Time to unsiege.
Oh no.
He's kicking himself in that unsiege here. The Raven dives there for the interference matrix just to give him a little bit of breathing room. The tanks are out of range. Oh, there we go. A shot going down with a scan from Raza as his air army gets pushed back. Speaking of the air army getting pushed back, you see there is going to push back the Vikings, kill a few of them, looking to threaten to land on those tanks as well. But they're unsieged though.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade, but the Vikings happy to take that. Obviously, tanks so important in this early phase. Keeps one alive. Nicely done by Seither.
Wow.
does scramble together that defense despite unsieging at the worst possible moment. Right now, Seither is up 8 army supply. They are locked neck and neck in just about every other regard. Combat shields is already finished for Seither as well. It's going to help out his 2 Marines versus the 1 Marine of Raza. So both players do not have a lot of army.
Whoa! The boys coming for a bit of a walk here, trying to get on top of those tanks. Landed Vikings, though, in that choke point. There's going to be a lot of dead SCVs here. And he killed the tank. Good target fire.
And the Liberator here is going to pick up a few more of these units. The Vikings will take off, but 10 SCVs going down. I think this is worth it for Seither, whose Liberator gets out of there on 4 hit points. Real nice.
I think Seither's Liberators are slather than butter. They just seem to always escape. Oh, and the Marine interception. A good catch from Seither. A good couple moves there from Seither, seemingly benign, but actually really mattering a lot at this early stage of the game. We're not even 10 minutes in yet. So getting that worker damage, slowing down Raza's economy, and getting ready for the big macro hammer to be dropped here as well as the extra barracks has come down for Seither.
I dare say Seither is pretty good at StarCraft, but Raza is, of course, still holding his own in terms of 3-base production. It is that quick fourth, that insanely quick fourth that Seither likes to build in there that is so scary, because that's just going to give him such progression as his mineral patches mine out. Seither will already have a 4th base unlocked and mining.
Yeah, that was the super comfort zone for Terran is to be up in the mid to high 70s worker count with that 4th base up in a planetary. And you just feel like you can produce things forever. See, threatening the natural here, finding an angle that Raza is not covering with that sensor tower. Liberator threatening those tanks now.
Ooh, okay, nice shots here from the Vikings. Will take out that Liberator. Does keep the tanks alive. Most importantly, Marine's going to chase back the Vikings there with Seither, and Seither just finding these positions, even with small unit sets. He's being so frustrating to deal with. Raza, though, has been a little more consistent with his production. That being said, there is now a lot of barracks finished, and Seither holding down that Marine tank key. Second factory is in range of this tank, already taking a lot of damage.
Unfortunate factory for Raza. They would think about lifting that up and putting it somewhere else just for now. But if you lift it up, then the Vikings shoot it. Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Raza needs to get back air control. This position is just too oppressive, Maynard. It's one of the most frustrating things to have to deal with right now. Seither has a 4th base up. Raza's going to try and just bust down auto turrets to tank.
He has got a lot of Marines here, and the Marines of Seither did not get in front of his own tanks, so the tanks do get cleaned up. Seither gets cleaned up. He gets pushed back. Saves a lot of his Marines, but gets pushed back there. And I think Seither's completely okay with that. And he did trade a little bit at the front, and he's also bought himself a big window where his 4th base has been mining a lot longer than Raza's 4th, which is yet to exist.
Upgrades perfectly timed there for Raza. +1 vehicle weapons and the 2-2 attack and armor finish. Seither not far behind on his bio upgrades. He does start vehicle weapons this game, something he's kind of ignored earlier on in this series. And the Marines, 13 Marines building at a time. Once again, Seither going for the 8 rack style on Oxide. So uncharacteristic of him, Maynard.
I love it. He did a great job with it in game 2. And this... Oh, no, Raza! Beware all ramps in TBT.
Ooh, lures him into another tank shot. Nicely done there for Seither. Spots that 4th command center floating down. He says, okay, all right, you got a 4th now as well. I've had mine for a few minutes, buddy. I am happy to go. And honestly, Seither's going to go to that left side again. He wants to go hit that natural ramp. Oh, I think he's going to split his reinforce.
Oh, I love this tank position. Yeah, it's so good.
Dude. Yeah, that triggers me. When someone gets that on me, it's so annoying. It's so hard to move your army around now as Raza. And Raza's going to go past. Same as he always does, Maynard. He always goes for the base trade when he's put in a bad position.
Seither's got siege tanks covering the 4th. The 3rd looks wide open again. Seither's going to try and intercept.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, this is dicey. Very dicey. Seither knows where Raza is. That's very bad for Raza. Like, if he can catch him with a base trade and with Seither not being able to respond to it, that's one thing. But Seither knows where Raza's army is, and he's just trying to cut him off at every single angle.
Yeah. This really makes it hard. At least Raza's kind of made it awkward for Seither as well. But Seither's just going to take a base in the bottom right in the face of Raza. Says, I don't care, man. I'm just going to keep expanding, keep doing my macro thing. I am a little surprised that Seither hasn't picked up a big drop yet and gone for the natural. But just because of the way Raza's positioned so well, it's hard to do that.
I'm also surprised that he didn't try to put anything on the 3rd base for tank-wise, but it looks like he wanted Raza to come into his trap.
Oh,
baby, that's a round.
Oh, That's a special sort of Sanger Maynard. That there is a tasty sandwich packed filled with Australian Vegemite.
That's right. A little bit of cheese. Just the right amount of butter. Delicious.
Oh, damn. Raza, though, with his own counter drop. Oh, that's
very nice. Very nice.
Dislodges those tanks super cost efficiently. He says, yeah, Marmite's pretty good too, man. Seither, enraged by that comment, is moving across the map with the counter attack.
Quite good. God save the queen. And Seither's like, no! Lies and slander. I mean, the supply is just a huge lead here for Seither. It is, even when you're up 40-50 supply in TVT, it's so hard to close it out when the tanks are ready for you, though.
It's all about building advantages, you know. This it kind of it's Age of Empires-esque, Maynard. Maybe Probe should play some TVT. You just take areas of the map and you wait for them to make mistakes. You if they expose them, you harass their worker lines. You get in the back with a drop, but yeah, it's very much where it's like there's such strong defender's advantage. And there's so much long-range units, you don't want to just force your way in, but look at the way he's just spreading across the map. And I see there's got a bank, so I'd like to see him drop about 5 more commands, and he's just going to go for it.
My God.
Great arc!
A big arc there, a horrible choke for him on the point for him on the southern side of that arc, and I don't think it worked out for him here.
Ooh, jumped the gun, I believe, as you see a field filled with yomped off guns and everything just chopped to bits, dude. Blood, sweat, tears, and yeah, all the hard yakka in the world isn't going to get you through that tank line, Maynard.
Yeah, I don't think Seither's feeling too much yoy after that attack there. That choke point in between the rocks and that sort of like island in the middle there, where the medevac of Raza is just above his webcam, is just insane to attack into in TVT. I know he had this around and everything, but I'm like, say goodbye to every unit you send through that funnel right there. Yeah,
indeed. It was the left side looked pretty good, but without the right side having broken down the rocks, it was a problem. The drop comes in, he's like, oh, what? You've got a planetary there? Seriously? And
yeah, I mean, Seither's got a 6 base on the way. It's not looking bad economically for him.
No, I mean, he's going Ravens as well. We've been talking about Ravens and how good they are in this matchup, and how we haven't seen them yet. It's Liberators to try and break this position for Raza, or maybe they're harassment libs, because he doesn't have Vikings. Does either side have Vikings right now?
I don't. Well, I mean, Seither's about to make a couple, but no, they do not.
Okay. Still a very good forward position for Seither. I think if Raza took him off this position, Raza could have used that very bad fight for Seither to a great advantage. But as it is, I do think Seither's missing a few orbitals since he's been maxed with bank for a while. Okay, Marines gonna have to sacrifice themselves to take out that Liberator. They do get it. Nicely done.
Yeah, not too many to sacrifice there either. And Seither's getting some shots off with his libs, which do have tank coverage.
Ow, and now he basically zones out that whole area. You can't move between your bases now. The tanks are going to edge forward. Uh-oh. Oh, this is getting really bad for Raza.
Yeah, these Liberators are getting a little bit too deep here, and they still have tank coverage, so Marines stepping in to pick them off are going to be taking those tank shots to the face.
Oh, and this is why you can't give up air control when you're on the defensive. You have to be attacking. You have to be base trading and fighting and counter-attacking on the map, because the moment you get pushed back, if you don't have air control, this is what an expert Terran will do to you. Now, Raza does take out the libs, but at immense cost. He's just lost so many Marines for that. He's going to try and snake around because he realizes this is a losing position fighting into this siege outside his base. Seither just has him contained. He's even built a sensor tower outside his base just to add insult to injury.
Oh, here comes Seither. Once again with a big line of Marines. It feels like he's been permanently in this position here against Raza. This rotation is doing my head in, by the way. There we go.
Thank
the Marines
you.
just diving up the natural. Raza just desperate for damage here. He gets cut off for the supply depot, but he's going to cut through that and get into the production of Seither, which is great. But Seither's going to try and get rid of everything Raza related on his side of the map.
The March of the Man with Gun. It comes, Maynard. That is a ridiculous number of Marines. And this was a great move by Raza. When behind, you got to make a big play like this to get on the production. But it does seem like Seither's getting on the production with even more. And that's going to... Oh, those tank shots from the low ground. Very nicely done there by Raza. It does clip a bunch of the Marines. But I think Seither's got so much bank, he's building masses of barracks and production elsewhere.
I'm so glad this series, every game's just been like, it's been 15 minutes and base trade.
That's it.
My favorite.
Game one, honestly, was the latest kind of closest thing to late game we were going to get. Remember, there was going to be Ravens this game, Maynard.
There was going to be.
Didn't really get to see it, though, because it escalated so quickly.
That's right. Yeah, boy, that escalated quickly is definitely an appropriate name for this matchup. Raza is going to find a lot more undefended over the SCVs over here, but the bottom right is the problem for Raza, is that Seither is remaking a ton of production right now. 2 of those are factories, and being able to make Siege Tank again is a huge advantage for Seither as we get to the later stages of this base trade here. Similar to game 1, honestly, like Seither has the production advantage with this base trade call from Raza, and he's also got bases everywhere. Raza has these 2 command center sort of setups just to the south of where Seither's army is in the main.
This is such a big confidence booster for Seither, just the way he has walked through fire in the series, because it wasn't an easy series. It's not like he just strolled through, but he walked through the fire and he came out unharmed. He didn't drop a map yet, you know, and it looks like he's probably poised to finish this series off, but this is such a big confidence boost to go in. Of course, these two are fighting for the opportunity to face T-Ball in that grand finals. That Liberator's gonna just evict those siege tanks. They can't even leave. The medevacs with the save. Nicely done.
Yeah, good micro. But through the fire and flames, we carry on, Pig. And that's exactly what Seither is doing right now. Yeah, he's losing a lot of SCVs over the left side of the map here. Planetary is killing a lot of the Marines of Raza, though, and every unit killed is a big problem for Raza. He just doesn't have as much production. Seither's got a giant tank, and he's going to use that now as his production kicks in to just overwhelm. And it feels like it's inevitable for Raza, unfortunately.
Yeah, what's Raza got down to the right? I mean, he's got these 3 tanks buying time. He's got Marines there, but does he have anything at his expansion on the right? 3 tanks, couple of turrets, couple of Marines.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good little defensive setup. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have space to rebuild those depots. And Command Center gets him on supply blocked, and it dies. And he's back in supply block town.
Yeah, Seither's lost a lot of his as well, obviously. Supply blocks all over the place, but he is getting out a couple rounds of tanks, something that Raza doesn't have the advantage of saying. The Liberators did get picked off there. This is a very entrenched Raza on the right side, and I mean, he knows that this is a weird game that's probably not going his way, but this is the elimination map of a tournament. Of course, he's going to try and hold on as much as he can and just hope for Seither to make a big blunder that he can capitalize on and get back in the driver's seat, but it just does not seem likely.
Oh, nice hot pickup there. Raza's doing a lot with a little. He's going to try and dance around, see if he can find a weak spot there, find some tanks in the open, tries to drop on them. But of course, Seither has more Marines coming from the north. It's got to be a quick evacuation. And Raza there just getting cornered, hemmed in. And the march is inevitable here as those Marines and tanks start to march on around. It's looking to clear out the rest of these depots. This one siege tank and this long distance mineral line will go down.
Certainly will. Seither just trying to find parts of the infrastructure of Raza that are really undefended so he can take them apart without losing much at all. Oh, the Vikings! Not too many of them died, but Raza realizing it's all over, man. Game over, man. Game over. We don't have anything here to muster this game into any semblance of a win, and Seither